Good evening, everyone. At this time, I'm going to open the October 2nd meeting of the Southampton Planning Board. Let the record show that Jim Labrie will not be here tonight. He's been excused. And I haven't heard from Paul Fergal, but he could be on his way. But nevertheless, we have 3 for a quorum, so we'll continue our business tonight. So we're going to open it up. We have several building permits since we had to cancel the September 11th meeting, I believe it was, or was it the 17th? Whatever the last September meeting was scheduled, it had to be canceled for a lack of a quorum. So we have several building permits to review. First one is going to be for Anna Cook. It's the Gouache property on 67 Pomeroy Meadow Road. And this one takes, you got yours. Can you do the math on this? This one's
estimate this one. Is it not noted what the?
Yeah, it is. I just want you to confirm it, though.
It's heritage, right? 39,000. Yeah.
So the parcel is 44.335 acres. According to the plan, the disturbance area is 39,000 square feet. If you want to join us, then you can take a look at it because there's only one copy of the map, but
the road is here,
there's the driveway.
and is this the current, it's the old building that's on there, or this a new structure?
Here's
that's the old
here's
one.
the farmhouse in the barn
Okay.
here, and this is the one, if you're looking at it
Yep.
to the right of it.
Okay, and this is the one that goes way up in the back here as far as a parcel, because remember,
Correct.
we approved smaller lots on that road.
There's lots
But-
over here
but
that
this
are
is-
for sale.
I think the understanding was this is gonna be the family home. This is, yeah. Okay, and they're gonna put it this close. I was thinking they were gonna put it up there.
Well, looks like it's bordering vegetated wetlands over here. They're maintaining a 50-foot buffer zone.
I see, okay.
They're actually, so they'll be before Conscom for this. They're within 100 feet of the wetland delineation.
It's still, I mean, I know where the, I suppose so, there's woodlands that begin like right here. Okay.
What do you think on that calc on that, Keith?
I mean, this line is noting the limit of construction, which looks pretty tight.
Why do they need to do that?
I don't know. Could be as this open field that they don't need to.
There's a
Yes,
drainage easement
yes.
over here.
there-
Yeah. Yeah.
Is this is a different person. Okay,
That's
so,
a butter there,
yeah,
yeah.
okay. So size-wise, does it meet the criteria?
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if it's even less than the 39,000. I mean, this is all they're proposing for limit of construction.
Yeah, it's funny, scale-wise, you'd think it would be more than that for the 39, given
Yeah.
44, but not.
Yeah, I mean, this,
Does this imply that they might do something with this area? Well, they can't really do anything,
I
can they?
don't believe so.
that's 160 from there to there. So, I mean, this thing is probably, I mean, if you said, yeah,
So
if
this
you
is-
said from front to back was 200, and then the average width was 100, that's only 20,000. Yeah, I think this looks pretty tight. I mean, it's a pretty tight area of disturbance, building envelope.
Is that okay?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
To make it smaller? I mean, they have the
Yeah.
frontage, right?
Well, they're trying to stay under the 40,000 square foot threshold.
Okay. This was already approved as a building lot anyway, so this is
Right,
just
it's a
building
conforming-
Yeah,
approval.
the
This
A
is
and R
just-
was approved on that prior,
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our purview in this case is just limit of
Disturbance.
soil disturbance.
Okay. Gotcha.
So in Heritage, knowing our regulations, they always do that calculation. So, but just physically looking at the I think maybe Heritage overestimated the 39,000, just real, I don't have a scale, but just looking at the limits of construction, I would say it's well under that, so.
I'll make a motion on Keith.
Yep, I'll make a motion to endorse the building permit.
I second it.
Motion's been made by Keith and seconded by Cindy to approve the building permit for Anna Cook for 67 Pomeroy Meadow Road. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The next one is from Andrew Labuki from 28 Pequot Road. Upside down.
Subdivision we've already approved,
Does
right?
Levesque have the disturbance on this?
I'm reading through here.
Not, it's not located, Cindy, in an endangered species jurisdiction, not located within a flood zone.
So my question is, excuse me, is this is the subdivision we approved, correct?
Over here.
Well,
Now-
it's two sides.
This one here. Now,
That is not in the subdivision.
that's what my question
But
was.
it's
This
on
is,
the corner of the subdivision.
was that wasn't carved out for any particular reason?
No, that parcel was the whole parcel. That house.
This was a separate A&R years ago, right? Or the
That was the daughter's
entire,
house.
yeah.
It was the daughter's house, but that was part of the parcel that I bought for the subdivision. At that time, A&R when the subdivision got divided, so they're knocking down the old house.
Right, so using this-
So there's,
So-
this is, 28 is gonna be knocked down, this one here. And they're gonna move it closer to the road?
Yeah. it was-
So that's substantially less than that would be where the area is 30,000 square feet.
Is it though? Yeah, I mean, they don't have the table of proposed.
Yeah, that's the, over here is all I've got. Not proposed, but the building coverage is 25% of the land mass.
Well, let's see, if this is 172 by 230, right? So if they came in and they stripped everything within, yeah, and it even narrows down. So say an average of 140 times 250. Be 35,000, so, and they'd have to strip the whole lot. They're not, obviously not gonna do that. So I'm pretty comfortable with this, that this appears to fall under the 40,000 square foot threshold that would otherwise trigger the
Motion.
bylaw.
Motion?
I'll move to accept the building permit by Andrew Lebucky of 28 Pequot Road.
A second?
Motion's made by Cindy, seconded by Keith. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This one here just came in tonight from John Kent from 39 High Street. This is done by Heritage, and he's got approximately 38,000 square feet of disturbance.
Did you say 35?
38
38?
approximately, according to the,
No, the address, 30.
I'm sorry, it's 39 High Street.
39 High Street.
77, this is the entire parcel, 77?
Yeah, you got some wetlands here, pretty good slope here, so looking at the building envelope. Looks to be... Yeah, well, here's 171. So, if we said 200, and it's about, yeah, you can see how it's pretty tight. If we said it was 200, it's 200 deep. But it's obviously not square. 200 by 200 would be 40.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a perfect square, so, yeah, I would tend to believe the 38,000 is calculated and listed on the plan sheet. So, I would motion, unless Cindy, you have any further comment, questions?
So what are all these lines with the numbers? That's the elevation?
That's the revised grading,
Okay.
yeah, so the lighter lines are existing grade,
Mhm.
darker lines are proposed grading.
Okay,
So they're just straightening the grade out a little bit.
okay. Okay,
Good.
so no problem?
Okay, I'll move to endorse the building permit.
Motion made by Keith, second for you, Cindy.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I want to make part of the record, Cindy, and it's on your agenda, that during the summer, the last couple of months, because we did not have meetings because of lack of agenda or quorum, I had personally given that, the permission that was given the chairman years ago, in between meetings, that if the plans fell well within or under the 30 or 40,000 square feet of disturbance, I initially approved those to keep the process moving so the applicant wouldn't be delayed. So they're on your sheet. One was for Real Remillard on Koshland Way.
Real, R-E-A-L?
Yeah, it's on your, his first name is
Just
Real
says-
Remillard, yeah,
Yeah.
Koshland Way. The second one was for Richard Rivette, 318 College Highway.
What was the address, the number of Caitlin or Cotland? Way?
Koshland, there wasn't one on it.
No number, okay.
And the disturbance on that was 15,520. So it was Richard Rivette, 318 College Highway, and then Ray Goulet, 33 Pequot Road. The disturbance on his was 33,000 square feet. The lot was 43,560, so they were all well under the threshold.
Do you want me to document the disturbance, because you didn't give it to me for the College Highway?
No, you know,
You don't have to?
not necessarily.
Okay,
So those are previously approved, but I would like a motion to, accept them as I saw them this summer.
um,
Sure, I'll motion to accept the Remillard Caitlin Way permit.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll also motion to endorse the Rivette College Highway building permit.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the third was Ray Goulet, 33 Pequot Road.
Oh, yep.
Somebody move that?
I move to accept the building permit for Regulate 33 Peacock.
And second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, next on the agenda, in your packet, the Select Board has sent me a notification through Ed Gibson of the proposed zoning change map amendment for 173 and 175 College Highway. And it was referred by R. Levesque Associates, and the petition was from American Dream Realty, care of Emmanuel Sardina. 16 Harvard Street, Westfield, and the property is located at, again, 173 and 175 College Highway, and they're seeking to change the zoning on it from commercial village, I'm sorry, from residential village to commercial village. Now, it's up to the planning board, after this was accepted by the select board and forwarded to us, we have to set a date for a public hearing. So this will then go to town meeting for the voters to decide ultimately the fate of this change. Now, I don't know what y'all are scheduling. I'd like to do it either the first meeting in November or the first meeting in December. I don't want to, and I'll need your input on this because I'm relatively sure, given the congestion and the traffic in that area, that, you know, a traffic study is going to be requested or recommended to go along with this. So it's kind of a complete process. We don't want to waltz through this because it's kind of a sensitive area over there. So do you think we can get that on the agenda for the first part of November, get it wrapped up by the end of November, the first part of December? That way there, it's ready the first of the year to go to town meeting on the warrant.
Is that adequate time to make sure the public gets a chance to hear about the public hearing and? Yeah,
if we do it now, we don't have to rush it, but we've got to move it along. I don't know what your thoughts are.
I'm available the first Wednesday of both months, so either one is fine with me.
What do you think on it, Keith? November?
I'd say we try to schedule it for November 6th. The meeting will most likely be continued anyway for the applicant to provide additional information. Most likely a traffic study unless they bring one with them, but it'll most likely be continued. Hopefully we can wrap it up in 2 meetings and make a recommendation.
All right, so that being the case, I will make it official in the minutes of this meeting that we will start the first public hearing on November 6th and go from there depending on how many continuances it needs, but that's when we'll schedule it for. That way there, it's going to have to be published 2 preceding Mondays or Tuesdays before that, which will be, it's going to have to be advertised on October 21st and 28th. And the abutters notified as well. And all the town departments. All right, so let me have a motion that we set that hearing for November 6th.
I move we set the public hearing for the proposed zone change for 173 to 175 College Highway for November 6th, with the idea that we could continue it for the following month, first Wednesday, if necessary.
Second that motion.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay. We've got a lot of minutes to approve, but we're going to do that at the end of the meeting. Right now, the most important part of this agenda is our ongoing review of zoning amendments. The planning board started the revisions, we've been running on a couple of years now. We started them and been chipping away at them as we go. Our consultant is Larry Smith, and he just joined us a moment ago here tonight. We also have with us 2 members of the ZBA, Ryan Gielaher and Jerry Swanson, who will be joining us in the discussion. So in your packets tonight, you have the Table 1 use regulations and also Section 6 dimensional and density regulations and so forth. So I'll let Larry take it over here but we'll start with the use regulations. And for some reason or other, I thought we had started these. Did you add more to it? Is that
More to what?
to the use regulations?
No. Since the last meeting, the ZBA said they had some questions about it.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Because I thought we had covered most of that. But
Yeah, we finished that section, we were,
Yeah.
next door had sections, that's it.
So I'll let Larry and the people from the ZBA, if you've got questions about what we had already covered, I'll ask you to go from there.
So where's everybody else?
Jim is absent, and Paul I haven't heard from.
Is Jim okay?
He's, he's got some issues, family issues, so
Yeah, I know.
we'll leave it at that, yeah.
Yeah, I know. And see,
Keep them in our thoughts and prayers, let's put it that way.
yeah. I guess that's what you do.
Yeah.
Okay, and we don't know about Paul. And the only reason I just say that is because it's nice to have everybody here, because when we get to the next meeting with the next section, we're probably gonna have to go back over what we do tonight because they weren't here. Just one of those things.
Give them the abridged version, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think if you go through it and you have some comments and you make some changes and they get some revisions, they can, like I did Sunday,
Yeah.
spend some time going through what you
Right,
have.
because they all received, everybody's got them, it's, you know, it devolves upon them
Just I know
to.
how this works.
Yeah.
I
Right.
mean, it's kind of like when you,
It's not the first time you've had to do it.
there's a town I had, a small town, one of the hill towns I was working with, and the politics were intense between the townies and the newies that were moving in. And every 2 years, they would vote each other out and vote their own people in. So everything I worked with them on for 2 years, the next 2 years, the new group worked at undoing it. And then in 2 years, they got voted out, so the original people were back in, so now we were back to step one, trying to put it back in.
You mean to tell me this could take 10 years yet?
At some point, it's like, this is not funny anymore.
I want to see this through.
This isn't funny anymore. Okay. So you said you had some issues, or some questions, I'll put it that way, issues.
Right,
So it has a
so,
negative connotation, that's not always.
so yeah, we have some basic things that we
Sure.
want to go through, but I mean, are you starting at number 1, page 1, agriculture, or are you guys done? Because
But we go through this. The board has approved as their final draft what you've done.
I just want to let you know that the Board of Health
Yeah.
is doing agricultural and farming regulations
Good.
also that, you know.
Well, that's important to know because they can't supersede what the planning board can do, and the planning board can't supersede what you.
Right, but we
Board of
want to
Health
make
can do.
sure it's not
Yeah, I think that's-
confusing.
I think that's fine.
So
Yep,
we'll work on that.
no, I think that's important.
It is
Well,
important.
can you clarify what the, I mean, if the Board of Health came up with regulations,
Right. Stable regulations.
which would supersede, I mean, if they were.
They don't.
Well, when you get into agricultural uses, it's really funny, because under the state law, under zoning, commercial agricultural uses, well, they're essentially just exempt. And they're by right use. If they're 5 acres or more, they're by right use. You can regulate them in terms of, like, requiring site plan approval for the layout and stuff, but in terms of that being an agricultural enterprise, they can do it. You can't really
Then the
stop.
Board of Health comes in.
Yeah, and then there are issues, you know, well, like it's a piggery or something.
Right.
You know, then they've got a whole other layer of issues they deal with that we try to help address, you know, relative to manure, storage and
Actually,
disposal
the
and stuff
whole
like that.
composting issue,
Yeah.
I think there are new regs that
Yeah.
just came out, and we already have an issue wondering
Yeah.
if that affects the transfer station. Randall's
Yeah,
concerned
but
about
I
it.
mean,
But
they're,
But also under the state zoning regulations, some agricultural uses are exempt down to 2 acres.
We don't touch dairy farms or anything like that.
So-
And farm stands are exempt.
So you basically, you want to take what you have and encompass it
Right.
into,
Well, the best thing to do
Two separate.
is when we deal with that zoning determination issue, is that when something comes in like that, because it also may trigger a wetlands thing, that you got the 3 boards
All of them.
working on it at the same time on the same page.
Right.
But there's still a separate permitting process.
Correct. There are certain things you're gonna look at that they're not gonna look at.
Right.
And there are things that they're gonna look at that you're not gonna look at.
There's some crossover, but not, there
Right.
could be areas where there isn't.
Correct.
We just want to make sure that people aren't confused and that, you know, it makes sense from a whole town's they think.
Especially where you are a town that has
Yeah.
extensive agricultural land.
Yeah.
Agriculture also includes forestry and silviculture and wineries and the whole gamut. And it's one of those things where everybody loves agriculture, everybody loves farms. The problem is when you get the subdivision next door, if it gets built, and suddenly, Jesus, it smells like cow shit all spring. Because that happens to be what they do in the spring. Or, geez, everything is really dusty when they go out there and they plow those fields.
that's what Southampton was like before all these newbies
That's because they
came
bought
in,
their houses.
playing soccer.
Yeah.
So does this, use regulations have to be tweaked at all here?
Well, okay, yeah, so you guys went through, so I mean, what I did is I went through and looked at some of these things, went back to the old
And
bylaws,
that's what the planning board did.
and, right, okay,
When they went through this, and there were certain things that they wanted to go above and beyond what the old, they wanted an extra level of scrutiny relative to special permits as opposed to just by right.
okay.
And we also, I think people think there's a site plan approval thing in your bylaw, but I don't think there really is one.
No.
Good. You're agreeing with me, excellent. Some people think there is one, but there really isn't. And so what we were trying to do was trigger those things that were large enough that should trigger a site plan review.
Okay.
And then we wanted to make sure that if we triggered a site plan review in a special permit, that they were both issued at the same time by the same board at the same hearing in the same process. So people don't have to go to 2 public hearings and all that kind of stuff.
So, I'll go, you touched on yours, I'm gonna,
Sure.
page 2.
I don't want more, so go ahead.
Okay.
Finish up
Is there any on page 1?
No,
Okay.
I'm good on page
Okay, so
4.
we're on
I'm
page
on
2.
page 2.
Oh, okay, you're moving on page.
Cluster development for CV zoned area, it's not allowable due to the basis of the fact that, I don't, what's the reason behind that, just that it's not,
Commercial village, is that the
Yeah.
density?
or density is not,
It's because it's a commercial zone.
And
that's just,
It's also development for residential.
right, but I'm just looking at, okay, so I guess then my question is, a lot of areas in this town, we have commercial, CV, CH, and industrial, which all have multiple, single, two-family.
And they may have that now.
Right.
But you don't really want to promote any more of that,
Okay.
because
I'm just, the CV area is pretty much right to the center of town, like,
Yeah.
Cumberland Farms. and
Sure.
such. I'm just,
and as I'm looking at that, I think as we discussed, you're not likely to have a subdivision that's going to be going in there, and it's going to trigger or qualify or be worthy of a cluster development.
So you're specifically, Ryan, I want to make sure I know where you are. You're on page 2, cluster development.
Yeah.
You're looking specifically
Number
under the
4.
commercial.
commercial, but
But
like,
what you also need to
You're
look
not number
at,
4, you're number 5.
right,
no, number 4, elderly housing is number 5.
number 4 is cluster development.
Are you in your packet, Cindy, or what?
I'm looking at ones from before, though, I thought they were the same thing.
Yeah. But what you need to look at is
Okay,
1, 2,
that's
and
fine.
3 as
That's
well.
fine. Okay.
And you will notice that in
I see there
those,
was a renumbering from something you sent up to us before.
Probably.
and you will notice that,
Okay.
you know, the board decided in the CDCHIP, they didn't really want to promote any more single-family dwellings. The reason for that is commercial developments and industrial developments and single-family homes just don't mix. They don't mix. And if you're going to continue to mix them, you're going to continue to get the homeowners come in and pitching and trying to put restrictions on the commercial development. And one thing I'm big on is economic development, especially for any community, because, and I don't know about Southampton, but most communities are broke. Okay,
Yes.
they are broke. And every single family home you have built in your community is a tax wrap. They don't pay what they consume in services, which is why you want an economic development, because they tend to pay more in taxes than they use up in services, and so they sort of subsidize and offset that. And that works for a nice balance. You've got to be very careful that you are, you know, you are working and having economic growth as well. And you don't want to have, and where you have really limited economic or commercial zones in town anyway, I don't think you really want what you have vacant used up for non-commercial activities. Because then you're going to have to go out and rezone other areas, and chances are those areas have got residential developments, you know, proximate to those, and then they're not going to want the lights, and they're not going to want the traffic, and they're not going to want the beep of the
Trucks backing up.
trucks backing up and the dumpsters being emptied at 6 and 5 in the morning. And so when you look at this, you know, single-family homes, you know, were now not permitted in those districts.
Let me ask you a question. In that commercial highway area, if you have a commercial building, are you going to allow, you know, apartments above?
Mixed use?
Yeah.
Mixed use isn't something that can be touched on. I think mixed use is terrific.
Yeah.
And that may be something we want to add to it. That I have no problem with. I mean, in many respects, that makes sense. In many respects, that makes sense the larger the commercial zone you have.
So maybe the CVCH, should look at something for a mixed use?
Well, but look at it carefully, because
You want to make sure you have a commercial building there first.
exactly, and you also want to make sure, in the value of having the mixed-use district and having people living there is that they support the commercial district.
And I'm thinking of, I mean, as an example, here in Easthampton, right by Nicky D's there, Auto Management's built those 3, 4, 5 buildings, and he's got mixed use, he's got offices down below, apartments, condos, whatever, up above. I mean, that's my vision
Yeah.
of what I'd see in the mixed use.
Yeah.
Which,
What was the,
My mixed use is even, it includes that, but it's even more village center
right,
type.
what was the process we went through many years ago with PDPC with the highway and commercial district between Red Rock and whatever, but it came to a
You were doing that as a smart growth district.
smart growth because we didn't have the infrastructure
That's
to
correct.
go any further with it.
That's correct.
But it was
Yeah.
well received, and that was the object of it, but because there was no infrastructure between there and
Yeah,
Seward.
what you want to make sure is that the commercial uses you have, if you're going to mix the uses, that the commercial uses you have are uses that are going to be used by the people living there. You know, which is where, you know, restaurants and, when we talk about village center areas or
I mean, I think, I mean, this
downtown areas.
This is very forward thinking, but we're at 19. This is gonna take a couple of years to get through. If we did something with mixed use, and just a suggestion, the infrastructure is gonna come at some point.
Yep.
Not 5 years, it could be 10, 15, 20.
Right.
So that instead of possibly, I mean, I'm not saying then this is gonna have to be tweaked again, kind of go back and reinvent the wheel. I mean, we can only look at so many things to try and curb what's potentially gonna.
How and where would you incorporate it in this?
I mean, your smart growth district, I believe, was the CH, up at the town line. We had that, okay, so that's where, in a smart growth district is a mixed-use district. So that's where you were talking about doing a mixed-use district. Of course, the issue you were getting into was the utilities. You didn't have the sewer there at that point, you didn't have the sidewalks there, so you could have the sidewalks there. Because there are certain triggers or nexus that the state is looking for to designate you as a smart growth district. You know, you want to be access to public transportation. The whole idea of it is to have higher densities, so you really kind of need to be on sewer and water. You have transportation corridors and things like that. I think if you know, if you're talking about doing it a mixed use in your commercial village district, take a look at your commercial village district.
That's, yeah, pretty much to, not the center, but
It's, you know, the
area by Cumberland Farms is the head.
it used to be the restaurant.
Right around, Opa.
Oh, yeah, I was on Old One, that's closer.
Basically from Opa down to, I think those condos on the corner of Gun Road.
It's a very, very small area.
Actually, the one we looked at went all the way to Pure Food. The commercial highway, it was all the way from Pure Food to,
It breaks up though.
Okay, but that's commercial, we're talking about village.
Village, yeah, commercial village goes that point, then it breaks to residential and some other stuff,
Right.
and commercial highway picks up at the bridge and goes all the way to the Easthampton line.
I mean, you will probably find, as they found on Riverdale Road in West Springfield, as they found on Route 9 in Hadley, and as they found on 20 Westfield, you got your main route here, okay? At some point, and we're not talking next year, we're probably talking 20, 25, or 30 years, the amount of traffic on that road is going to be such that it really is not where people want to live with their single-family homes. So over time, you'll probably find that's going to become your golden mile.
Right, you're gonna see, I think, yeah, the envision is to see some mixed use,
Sure.
so, I mean,
I see that happening now in Westfield, not so slowly, from the new Cumberland Farms all the way down to the turnpike.
yeah.
You got a lot of single-family homes in there. There used to be a lot more.
They're
At
changing
some
that.
point, those single-family homes became more valuable as a Cumberland Farms than they did as a
Talking
single-family
about
home.
a generation or two.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
That it's taken.
I mean, I remember, you know, I'm old, you know, Route 9 in Hadley was a two-lane road before the malls, and it was mostly home, mostly residential. That was 40 years ago.
is mixed use going to be put into one of these categories?
Well, we'll have to talk about the use and how you want to do it.
Yeah.
Usually it's done as a special permit, sometimes it's done as a low overlay district. But I think you really want to kind of look at where. I mean, you already have the bones of it done when you were working with Jane and you did your smart growth district. You just haven't adopted it yet because you don't have the tools in place. to make
CB
it
and
work.
CH, correct me if I'm wrong, is only on Route 10 in town.
I believe that's true.
It's not much. The commercial
Yeah.
village is 0.2% of the total land mass in Southampton. Commercial highway is 0.8, so
And typically, it's right along the edge of the road,
this is it.
so
If
you're
you
not
want
going
to
to
see
get
it.
the depth that you're going to need if you're putting in a cluster.
It's spotty. There's your commercial village, that's your highway. Yeah, it's not much.
Yeah, I mean, I think cluster developments are great, it's just, I don't see that ever happening yet. Only because it's so limited and so restricted.
Well,
And I'm also a person that, from my experience, I know that residences and certain types of residences don't mix well with commercial uses.
right.
And
you
you're
don't
better
want-
off having, this is my commercial use area, and this is my residential area. And if you can incorporate some kind of mixed use into that, that's terrific.
What else is got going forward after the cluster?
Retail establishment selling general merchandise, you have it.
What page you
Oh, sorry, page 3 and number 4.
Retail establishments?
Yeah, you have special permit, only CDCH, not included industrial. I mean, is the intent here, you're trying to keep the industrial?
Yeah.
I'm a little,
Yeah, why
I
not?
get the intent with industrial use, but I'm looking at it from the standpoint of, this is an ag. We don't, it's not ag one, we don't have 500 acres in multiple industrial parks.
No, you have it even more limited.
Yeah,
And again, what I'm looking at is, I think industrial growth is terrific. I don't want you to use that up on retail, which can go someplace else, maybe be more suitable.
okay.
Because once you've let it in there, you're not going to get it out. And you've lost that for industrial use. And I think industrial, developments are really important. And I just think that, I think you want to save that for those uses. You don't want to lose it because you're not going to get it back. And it doesn't affect those uses, those that are already there.
No, I know,
They
it's
consider
just
those
non-conforming, right?
But I'm just not sure that you want to promote anymore. And if there is an area of the industrial district that you think is more suitable for retail, then rezone it.
Okay. Page 4, number 7, and number 16, establishment for selling motor vehicles and or accessories, and then automotive or other business repair services.
Okay, which of these again, what the numbers?
Number 7 and 16, page 4.
Page 4, 7.
Those
That's
kind
actually
of,
good here. 17, 17. Establishment, selling motor, gotcha.
so I kind of feel, I mean, especially in, you've got it where the sale is not allowed in industrial.
Yeah.
For the repair, it is. The two kind of go hand in hand.
Well,
Not
part of
necessarily, not
the
necessarily.
Part of the problem, though, is the industrial park area. There are 3 parcels down there
Yeah.
in the ponds area, and it's pretty much all residential.
Oh, yeah.
We have some serious issues.
Yes, you do.
They need to be rezoned.
Yes.
Please.
Yeah, that's a spot zone that is, that
Yeah,
makes absolutely
there-
no
Well,
sense.
it's a spot zone, and it's one of those zones that you're better off, in my personal opinion, you're better off letting those continuous pre-existing non-conforming uses,
And eventually, hopefully.
and
use
hopefully,
those away.
eventually, it turns into something better.
So,
Because that's been,
so I looked at this,
Yeah.
so if you go in industrial parcel, and I wasn't, actually, thanks for bringing that up, Mary, I didn't even think about those parcels.
you have a couple of spots.
Yeah, I kind of blocked it out. But in the other areas, you have those, and you can go in and do automotive or truck repair, or whatever it is, but you could never, if you're in the industrial area, I always see the two kind of, you know, the auto, like Tarkin's example, they repair cars, they do body work, whatever exactly they do, and he sells cars. So he's in, I don't even know what that is, CV or CH, but if you're in an industrial area and you wanted to do repairs and potentially do sales, you're getting boxed out of that. I always see,
Yeah.
the lease sells, does the body work and repairs them.
But they're doing those in commercial zones. We're not doing them in industrial zones.
Right, but you're allowing the repair in the industrial zone, but not this, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just,
And I think that's because what we were looking at was, you know, the more heavy-duty type of repairs, truck repairs and stuff. Typically, when you get the repair sales, you get people selling used vehicles that they repair. And that's
So if
a
you-
little bit of a different animal.
so then if you go to automotive repair, okay,
Yeah.
so then I was looking on the car aspect of it, so let's step back, go to heavy truck repair.
Yeah.
So a guy does heavy truck repair, but then, you know, he also wants to sell the trucks. So he's in the industrial area and he's gonna,
But
in
he can't
theory,
do the-
Yeah.
he can't pull a license to have a used car dealer license, which you need to sell trucks
Yeah.
in the industrial area because it's not.
You know, I don't have a problem with that with the trucks. And in fact, you know, if you go down in Westfield on Route 10, you've got that
Freightliner.
Freightliner right there,
They sell 'em.
which does exactly
Yeah,
that.
they sell
Which I
'em.
would rather have in an industrial area than on a commercial strip. Yeah.
So I
So
don't
then
think,
maybe what we want to do is differentiate between automobiles and commercial vehicles.
Maybe we want to have a special permit option.
Well, you do have a special permit. That's what the PB is.
No.
And that's kind of why we set the PB, take on a case-by-case basis.
planning board,
But not
yeah.
in the industrial.
Not in number
That's
7.
what I'm saying.
Not number 7.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
And you have to be careful too, because you don't have sewers either.
Oh, yeah.
Those
Oh, yeah.
3 parcels that are in the ponds area there, right, up in zone 2,
Yeah.
not good.
So then, I mean, my suggestion would be, if you're going to allow sales
I mean, I don't
in
think,
the industrial district, that you basically limit it to, you know, commercial vehicles and things like that, and not do regular. One of the biggest problems in every town I've ever worked in are used car sales.
But couldn't somebody argue that those used cars are in fact commercial because they're Ubers or they're taxis or they're something, maybe.
No.
No?
Well, you could make that argument, but I see the nature totally different.
I mean, I don't think
There's an
you're not
automobile
going
and
to
a
get
tractor.
the police or one of them to come in one of our 4 tracks of industrial land to do it, but I mean, that was just,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, why don't you think about that? How do you want to do that?
We don't want a truck terminal, so you want to be a little careful here. Because I think you have
You
a
don't-
truck
you
terminal
don't-
down in the funds.
You don't want those.
No,
It's permitted there right now, like.
I know.
Yeah.
That's an issue.
Yeah. Well, so what's your sentiment on that? I think that you raise a good point.
From 1 to 4.
And I think that, I think when you're talking about the industrial district, I totally understand, you know, when you go off Freight Line, that just makes all kinds of sense.
I think
I don't think it makes sense if you're talking about,
Set it up,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a slippery slope. Do you make it automobile repairs and sales? And then do you do it, and I'm just totally off the cuff, is it heavy equipment, commercial vehicles, fleet vehicles? You know, I don't know.
Well, that's what I mean, it's the
Yeah.
terminology you're gonna
Yeah.
use. It's
Yeah.
gonna-
That's gonna be, right, I mean, we're turning into attorneys and what.
and, you know, and it's the Freightliner that I wouldn't want where it is now. It's not, the Freightliner is not what I want on your commercial
No.
strip, which is more retail and more citizen oriented.
You want them back off,
Yeah.
kind of the.
Back in the industrial.
So the number 7 really should be motor vehicle sales and service, correct? You could, motor vehicle sales and service are gonna be all right in that highway and.
I guess, but what is the true definition of motor vehicle?
Well, automobile.
Well, you can do it by weight, you can do it by.
Well, yeah, so if you
wholesale.
put motor vehicle sales and service based under, I don't know, 12,000 or 15,000 pounds, which is like a pickup truck
And
now.
then define your other one, commercial, or however you're going to do it, in the industrial zone. It's language.
Yeah,
Well, what you'd be doing is just differentiating between the two. You'd be having a category for, we're talking auto, you know, residential, personal automobiles versus commercial vehicles. Okay, let me make a note on that.
Yeah, I'd be in favor of that. I think it's important to differentiate.
You got 2 out of that.
2 out of 5, I think, and then come on roll.
All right, what's your next?
All earth removal,
What page?
oh, sorry, page 5, 1 through 3. So, earth removal residential, you, for lack of better words, you're kind of stealing this from Westfield where they had like a volume or an amount.
Yeah, absolutely. It basically has to do with, if you need to remove it because you're taking a hole in the ground and putting in a foundation, yeah, that's just part of, that's ancillary
Right.
to doing the building. If you're running it as a commercial operation, which basically you're mining your property, that's a different thing. Yeah. This is very similar to Westfield's.
But doesn't Westfield have like a volume or no, am I mistaken?
Well, you know, later
I'm not
on,
trying to complicate it.
no, later on is where, you know, we have the section on the special permit criteria.
Yeah,
And that's where you deal with that. So we're getting to that. We're
okay.
not gonna have that here in this section.
So the 4-foot, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So the earth removal, commercial and processing, you got as board of selectmen versus planning
And
board.
okay,
I got 2 and
That's
3,
true.
2 and 3,
Or
yeah.
You
page
have to
5.
get the borrow tickets.
You know, there's only one reason I said that.
And then,
Typically, I wouldn't do that, because I think, the only reason that's in there is because oftentimes you'll find earth removal being incredibly political issue. And sometimes, and not always, and maybe that's not the case here, but sometimes you throw that in the arena, which is the political arena, which is the select board. Personally, I think it's better serviced by the planning board or somebody who feels and who just kind of knows with it, But I know, sitting through those hearings and with the, number of people that come out
Yeah.
on those, and the neighbors and stuff.
So,
That's what we did. I don't think we have, I'm not sure that's the best way to do it.
yeah, no, I mean, I have a friend going to number 2 in Ware, and it's
Yeah.
the same kind of thing.
The select, is it the select board?
Yeah. And it's,
Why don't we have that as the planning board?
You could have it as a planning board.
I mean, if you keep it,
They're all members of the
But they're- I've moved it, blown it up, crushed it.
And their used car sales, and used car sales and commercial or through operations. So I have no,
I don't think
whatever.
it should be the select board,
I don't either.
Yep, stay away from planning board.
planning board,
So we're talking,
2 and
Two
3
and
on
three.
page 5.
yeah,
And
So-
how come it doesn't fall into the commercial district? Wouldn't it?
you don't want to have, commercial earth removal operations in your commercial business.
Where your stores are.
I mean, they are unbelievably disruptive.
Okay.
I mean, they are, and I'm sure you've experienced it too. They're using a piece of land that the developer, once they're done with it, walk away from. And you're left with a hole in the
you
ground.
have to make, I mean,
Yeah.
like Huntington has like very, Huntington, one of those towns, I've read the permits, and it's very strict, the bylaws, how much you open, how much is closed, the vegetation, the bonds, I mean, it's like a solar
It
deal
is.
essentially.
Usually you would phase the removal
Yeah.
of it. You would require a reclamation plan, you would require reclamation, you would require a reclamation bond.
So,
But I'm telling you, I've seen towns get stuck time and time again.
well, you just have to have, you have to have it tight, I mean,
Your enforcement officer's gotta be on the job.
That's right.
I mean, there are towns that don't,
Residential.
there are towns that don't allow commercial earth removal operations. Basically because of the nature of them and because of that.
I mean, you just have to make it tight that you've gotta come over
Sure.
there, I mean, Huntington is pretty,
Yeah, I mean, when we had in Westdale, we had a farm that was running from what we consider to be a commercial earth removal operation. And their thing was, oh, no, this is part of our agricultural operation where we're regrading for pasture land. Well, unfortunately, what they were regrading was, it looked like a bombed out target range. Because when they needed sand, they dug a hole here of sand, put it on the truck and hauled it out. When they needed gravel, the gravel's over here, they dug a hole here. I mean, it was, and we ended up going to court with them and suing it, and the courts determined that this was commercial. They confirmed that the agricultural operation, you can remove gravel, do earth removal. It's in conjunction
as long
with.
as, yeah, as long as you have it.
But what they concerned, what they determined, they agreed with us that this was a commercial operation.
So then my other question is, you have BS for earth removal for number 2 and number 3 in the RR area. Should that be also,
You're gonna go across the
you're
board.
gonna go across the board?
Oh,
So the process.
Which number are you looking at?
Two and
Yeah,
three.
2 and 3 under residential.
2 and 3 residential RR, you have BS.
Change that to planning board as well. so
Yeah.
board is select.
Yeah.
The process.
I think.
Oh, I did it already.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you're ahead of us, all right, so we're
Yeah,
keeping away.
yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Oops,
Well, who's up late at night with all this construction?
No, I spent Sunday after church,
Yes.
I opened
If
this.
anybody reads this, I have no problem with it.
I was going back and forth between this and the old ones, and then I got to the point where I got a little confused, I had to take a break.
Well, I mean, that's what we did. That's
Yeah.
what we did, 3 years ago.
Well, what it is, I mean, what,
Where you at?
I'm on page 6, is my last, actually, I think it's my last one.
Yeah.
Number 7, outdoor storage of unregistered motor vehicles, not less than 20 feet from the lot line. Oh, that carries to it. What is outdoor storage?
Why did we do that?
Yeah, I mean, it's permitted everywhere except for industrial.
Outdoor storage is one unregistered vehicle. One.
Yeah, you can have one on
Yeah, there you go.
Well, there used to be two.
No, I don't think so.
I thought it was
There's
two.
been one for ages.
It typically is one, and the issue is, once you start adding, increasing the number, you end up with
Oh, junkyard.
home, auto, yeah, I mean, scavenging, exactly.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I read the first number 7 and I didn't realize it went on to that, that must have been when I got fired.
So wait, I want to make sure I understand this. So you can have one unregistered motor vehicle without any kind of permitting, or you have to come here
No,
for?
he is by right,
Okay,
permitted by
all
right.
right.
So is your question, was it the one, or you want to know also about the industrial?
Well, yeah, industrial is not allowed.
I think, let's see, when would you want it?
I mean,
I mean, typically, this is geared towards,
It's for
it's residential.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, but could someone get, say, cited for one on an industrial?
If you're in
Yeah, they probably could.
zoning enforcement.
And industrial, you would think,
So should we add a P?
Yeah.
Didn't he there too?
given the nature of their business, might have at least.
All right, we'll get to that one.
No, I think, I don't know, I mean, you can read this again tomorrow and see something else, but I think it's time where I give Jerry the floor back for her one.
Did you have any questions about the new definitions? The ones that were highlighted?
Oh, you wanted me to read those too?
No, did you read those? Commercial, industrial composting, essential services, fur-bearing animals?
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, I think that's probably,
Yeah.
what if it's ancillary to the use?
What use? I mean,
I mean, if you have large, if you
the
have.
blue factory?
No, so if you had a large-scale composting, you had a, let's say, a recreation or medical marijuana grow,
Yeah.
they were using that for, I mean, is that would be ancillary to that use?
no, actually, the composting, you can't compost.
No, this is, yeah, that's true.
I don't know how. to-
No, this is at the principal use. We're talking principal uses.
Okay.
No, that's regulated carefully.
Yeah.
Thanks for the vote of confidence. I figured if I just need to, but I can figure out.
Do we need to add the marijuana uses to this table as well?
Should be permitted everywhere.
Let's see.
I didn't see it.
We did a table of use on.
I think you did the marijuana after you did this.
Right.
It should be
Yeah,
this.
right.
Yeah.
It's separate, it's separate.
It's in a separate bylaw, but I mean,
No, you have to show it in the
it should be
shape.
incorporated in this as well.
You need to show it in the shape. You did the
I read
entry.
that.
Marijuana.
Yeah. This is what I do. I've read bylaws of other towns, and they're trying to look at it. Yeah, you want to what?
Why, you buying some industrial property in town?
I already did.
You have some, don't you?
I do. Okay, Jeremy.
We had talked when we were meeting,
Yeah.
when we met with the department heads, about doing the accessory dwelling units,
Yeah.
and for especially for seniors.
Yeah.
And we talked about, I forget what the square footage is now, I think we have closets bigger than that.
963, I think, or eight and change.
What is it now?
What was that question, the accessory apartment?
I don't remember what it was.
They're
Was the issue was too big or too small?
really
small.
small. They're too
800 is
small
what's on the books.
because you
Yeah.
can't do a,
Well, it's like, how big is a handicap accessible bath?
exactly, well,
350 square.
I mean, it's not tiny.
no,
No,
I
I
have
mean,
one in my house.
there you go.
It's for aging in place.
Yes, exactly.
And to put 2 adults into a unit, you're gonna need about a little under 1,200
Right.
square feet.
I mean, and I'm all in favor of accessory units. You can't limit them to just seniors.
No, and
but,
I did a little draft very quickly
Yeah.
so that you could also do it as, for low income.
600.
And then we could get our
600.
credits.
My
There
closet.
was-
No, it's a really good thing to do, it's just, it's really, really hard.
That's down the
Well,
road.
to
I
do that.
took
Ways
some
to
of
get
this
to that.
from, I did a little cut and paste,
Yeah.
so that you
The problem, when we talked about this a number of times, about the inclusionary zoning and things like that, which is a terrific thing, but there's an unbelievable amount of administrative work that goes
Yes,
along with
there
that, in
is.
terms of marketing the units,
Yep.
and confirming that they in fact qualify, and monitoring the turnover, and doing the yearly reporting to the state, and it's who's gonna do that, and it's not gonna be your housing authority.
No, it's not.
So you can't, so the accessory use, so you can't limit it to just elderly or certain age restriction?
No, well, you can,
Well, the only way you can limit, the only legal type of housing discrimination you can do is if it's done as a senior housing type project under a certain state statute.
And Jerry, 600 and something feet, that's not gonna work for when they're building.
That's why I think the language too
But
came off as, the in-law apartment language is thrown out, now it's accessory.
It's accessory, which I think are terrific. I think accessory apartments are wonderful. I think you have to be careful how you do it. I think you have to be careful in terms of going from a accessory apartment to a two-family dwelling. You can regulate that relative to the size. There's ways of doing that.
the other thing is.
The affordable housing aspect of it, which I think is wonderful and admirable, towns that have adopted, as you did, your inclusionary zoning bylaw, when they've actually, we ran into this in Hadley, when they actually had a project that came in, and we started going through the steps to actually administer this, it was like, shit. I think I told you, we went and we got certified at PVCPC, there were all four of us that got certified to administer it, and we all said, it's just way too much.
Well, there's a town east.
And that's one of the problems is, I think, the state regulations for monitoring those make it almost,
Unfeasible.
unfeasible for a small town to do it. If you had a housing trust, and that housing trust had a person who was hired and paid to administer that, I think you could do that.
You can do it through the town clerk. I mean, other towns have done it, and so that,
They've adopted bylaws.
yeah, but I don't know how it
Yeah,
works.
a lot of these have adopted bylaws.
Didn't get that
And in fact,
far.
as we got into the PVPC, we started thinking, God, what did we do by going to all these towns and, and encourage them to adopt these things?
I'll bet a lot of those were appealed to some of these decisions because of how onerous they are.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a really good thing. It addresses a really, really important problem. But the way the state has it structured,
You have to
for you to have to certify
every 4
these,
years.
exactly.
Yeah.
And in fact, we in Hadley, because we were really wrestling with it there, we actually had the folks come in from the Billtown CDC who actually do administer these, and they told us how much they charge per unit to administer these, because it's not just a one-shot deal.
It's a year.
So when the property gets sold, you've got to monitor it, you've got to make sure it gets sold to somebody.
So what's the answer, Larry, for our town that's talked constantly about the need for better senior housing and also affordable housing in the general sense of the word?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
No. It's
Yeah.
part
What did you
of-
say? What did you say?
40B? I'm telling you,
So fast.
somebody asked, and that would be my
Your
answer.
answer.
Circumvents all your
No,
local
for the
zoning.
seniors, I mean, right now,
Yeah, puts the
an
onus on
apartment
the,
has to be part
$100.
of, the main house, and I
No,
don't.
I'm talking about a freestanding house that
Yeah.
they can own by themselves that's affordable. That's what I'm wondering, how we can encourage more of that kind of.
Then you have
This
to, you
town.
have to do a senior housing project. I'm talking about seniors being able to stay either on their property
Right.
or their
In their
children's
kid's house.
property,
Yes.
and they
Sure.
can add on to maybe
Yes.
a garage.
Right, that's the,
You may not always be able to have it as part of the main house due to topography, or we don't have sewers, so where's your septic system?
sure.
You should be allowed to have even a separate dwelling if you can meet all the zoning
Yeah, then you're going
regulations
to-
and setbacks.
Yeah, then you're into issues about two dwelling on a lot. So there's
And
something
but you-
regulating
But you can't.
But Jerry, that works really well
You can't separate
until
it.
mom or dad dies, and then you've got that extra dwelling.
And they
Then
still
you're- and then
agree
you're-
with it.
Yeah.
But in the
Renters,
bylaw, it says that either, mom or dad can live
You
in
can't
that
do that.
dwelling, or
You can't do that.
children. Why?
You can't,
I took
that's,
it
that's,
directly out of
out of
another
what?
town.
That's discrimination.
That you're allowed to have children there, your children, it's family members, and it says specifically
Well, I don't believe you can do that.
that.
I see
What
that,
town did you take
I
this
see
from?
that as equally problematic at times.
Sudbury?
I don't know.
I got it right off the
Yeah,
state's
my
website.
understanding is,
Sudbury?
Right, well, I had to
The
go
only-
through
yeah.
to see who could do this by right or if they needed a special permit. And you can't separately convey the accessory dwelling
Sort
at
of,
all. It's in there,
Something far out
It's on the coast, isn't it?
no, it's in,
South of Worcester.
yeah, exactly, something,
but I think the
It's over on the
point
North
is
Shore
we
somewhere.
need to have something in place
No,
for
that's Florida.
seniors. So they aren't required to either go to assisted living or to a nursing home. Why can't they stay on their own property?
my understanding is the only way you can use any kind of housing discrimination is in accordance with the state statute that allows you to do it for senior housing projects. I don't believe you could,
That's the 40
But I got this.
no, 40B,
Totally separate.
40B is,
Why
40B is different.
Why aren't there more requests for senior or over 55 complexes in this town?
Because
I
they
think
don't
there would
want to
be.
be stuck
It- it-
with just
You're talking about
seniors.
building permits
Well,
from developers to build those kind of places?
No, what I think it comes back, now, I'll change my hat.
Given land we've got.
The developer side though, just the cost.
Yeah,
I mean, the problem in the town is, it's not a problem, it's pro and cons. The cost of the land and what the real estate is worth in order to do a project
Sure.
like that, I mean, it's just.
and the land costs the same, the building materials cost the same, the labor costs the
So if
same.
you do a 55 over and you can build each unit, let's say for 300,000,
Yeah.
because your land cost is driving up, we don't have sewer, and you can go the next town over and you've got sewer, which you'd rather have on
Yeah.
buildings like that, because they're almost like cluster housing. And the land is cheaper,
I mean,
the cost of your unit goes down, and that's where, because I think when I'm gonna be careful here, but when you step out as a senior, what your needs and your wants are different. When you're younger with a family, you want community, you want a community, but you want the school system and
Sure.
certain things. But when you're a senior, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know where to go with this, I don't know.
Exactly.
As long as you have a gym.
When you become a senior, you don't care about the schools anymore.
But right, you don't care about the schools, you want smaller space, you want things to be taken care of. Don't get me-
Donuts.
Yeah, Dunkin' Donuts, so you can,
You
but,
want a nice senior center,
but I see that, and
free bus
I,
passes.
and I think it could possibly work, but without sewers, I don't
No.
think in this town, it's,
So without sewers, you are hamstrung with cluster developments, you're hamstrung with multifamily
an
developments.
expensive septic
Yeah,
system, I mean, you're just, the cost, so the cost per unit, and he just gets too high,
Yeah.
where if you're gonna spend 400,000 on 1,400 square foot in a little cluster, I mean, you can stay in the house you're in and modify some of the stuff, or buy a, single family home that.
And you're really discouraged, if you don't have public sewer, you're really discouraged because you then almost have to create your own little, it's shared or communal
You're talking about,
septics.
like
which
the place
is-
right next to the school.
Yeah.
Really
That's perfect.
Well,
Yeah.
they
Their own
don't
separate
system
system.
for,
The whole community,
Yeah, whole thing.
like Country Garden Apartments. And
Which country garden?
behind Cumberland Farms.
Oh,
So that's one large septic system, I mean, I can tell you on the dollars and cents side is what the cost of that is versus
Sure.
hooking up each
Yeah.
unit for
Sure.
sewer. I mean, sewer's essentially for
So when
life.
was that built?
What, Country Garden?
Yeah,
Uh,
back in the 70s.
okay, you couldn't do that today.
No,
No.
and that's the third system or fourth system in there.
Yeah.
And, I mean, basically now you have a wastewater treatment.
Sure. But we had that
And
with,
you have to have an operator that goes to that site every day.
you're running your own treatment plant.
Yeah,
You
you are.
really need a licensed person to administer that.
It is a treatment plant, yeah.
So it really is-
Facility.
It's really cost and administratively prohibitive.
All right. We
But
got-
anyway, as the bylaw is written now, if you're gonna do an accessory apartment, it has to be attached to that main
Yeah.
house. And it's tiny. If somebody was, had
Yeah.
hospice services, you needed that on a hospital bed.
So,
I mean,
so,
it's
so,
minute.
so your bylaw doesn't set a minimum, it sets a maximum.
Yeah, but you were not
It
even
says
there.
up
That's
to-
down the road.
That is down the road.
Yeah, that's.
But I think that's a legitimate point. I'm all for the attached, I gotta think a lot about the detached.
Or
I
at
mean-
least have it attached, be able to be attached to another accessory building like a garage, if the garage isn't
Yes,
attached.
sometimes, there's a second story in the garage and that becomes an accessory apartment. But my question, my concern is, look at Northampton and look where you can stick them anywhere. So I think you want to
You're
know.
saying you're critical of that, that's what you're saying.
Yeah,
Well, the other thing,
yeah, I'm all for them,
how many?
but I think you have to be
you're gonna
careful to
have?
make sure that they fit in with the neighborhood,
Right,
the neighborhood that you have.
and you can.
And the neighborhoods are all different. And that's usually why you do it by special permit, so you can look at each one as it comes in.
Right,
Yeah, because the way the regs are set up now in those, you cannot have them looking like they're a separate building. They
Well, you would like that to.
have their own
Yeah.
entrances and
So
stuff.
typically you want their own entrance, but you don't want it to look like it's a two-family.
Right.
You want it to look like it's a side door or something.
We had a couple of them done, Jerry, that were quite tasteful, they attached it by a breezeway.
Yeah, but
Porch and
for
stuff.
instance, you have a lot of
Right,
help,
yeah.
how difficult is that gonna be to try and do it, It doesn't always work, in some cases.
No, not if you've got the building you want to put it in that's several, feet away from the main structure.
But I mean, you could also limit the number, I mean, you can have it 5% of, the housing units in the year that they apply for a permit. I mean, you're not gonna get a ton of these.
5% for what?
Well, if you think you're gonna have, how many of these a year do you think
Well,
are gonna?
I guess my point is, if you think it's such a great idea, then why can't everybody have it?
I don't know, why can't they?
My point.
Well, then you're changing the whole, I mean, I can see with the senior aspect, but when you go the other way, then you're gonna end up with everybody with a house putting an addition on
Sure.
there, creating
A rental unit.
yeah.
Yeah, you will.
And that's a terrible thing, because, I mean.
Well, here's the problem that you have.
You're basically creating, and I know what you're saying, that there's two trains of thought, but you're kind of creating, I mean, I look at it as you're like putting a cottage on there, if it's not for family or senior or what have you, you're basically creating duplexes everywhere. and that's not what they do.
It depends on your community.
There's one little, and there's one on East Street,
And it depends on the size, and there's a certain amount of size, and if it's a certain small size, I'm not going to do it.
I mean,
It's too small for my needs.
It should be geared for the seniors.
We did one
So
for-
that they can.
Well, some towns it should be geared towards the students.
Remember the one we did for Gilbert Road, for his in-laws to go?
Yeah, yeah.
You drive by there, I mean, you could not tell if I mean, it's a good sized house, but you cannot tell if it's accessory, the way he had it drawn, I mean, that's how I see. Now,
That's
if
very nice.
I was his neighbor and he put something that looked totally out of character, a separate driveway, I mean.
And now I have two more cars.
That's
on my
Amherst,
property.
yeah, that's Amherst Hadley with like the student,
I mean, you can make a two-family, a legitimate two-family dwelling. Not look like a two-family dwelling, it looks terrific.
Right.
It looks like just a nice, big, single-family dwelling. It doesn't look like the rectangle with the two doors,
Yeah.
the two windows, the two garage
Or
doors.
how do you get to keep seniors,
I'm not gearing it to just seniors, because I don't think you can gear it to just seniors. And I don't think it should be geared. That would be.
No, I don't hear her gearing it to seniors.
She just told me.
Hold on. What I hear her saying is, we have to think about the fact that the population in general is turning into all seniors, or, you know, a large percent. Let me finish. And therefore, while we have to be cognizant of the fact that there's issues, not only in our town, but in other towns, that we don't have adequate amount of seniors. Now, what happens is seniors age even more and then pass away, and then you have this apartment, and then it's not geared for seniors. It could be geared for the young student that went to college and couldn't get, you know, he couldn't afford to have his own place to live at that point, and he's living in this secondarily, or, you know, or something, or they come home and it's family. The problem is we can't have them as rental properties because that's not allowed. That's not allowed. So it's controlled already. So it's controlled already.
The only, in my mind, the only difference between a senior unit and a regular unit is handicap accessibility.
It's,
Right.
well, it's universal design.
Well, it's universal, okay, you have your electrical outlets up here, you don't have it down here. But basically,
I like the taller.
square foot,
toilets. I'm a
and that's
tall
terrific
person.
too. And you can put a smaller toilet in when you don't need it. Except, I would always use a tall toilet.
Absolutely.
But what you're taking a look at here in Massachusetts,
Not all seniors need all those things, and some people who are 22 need those things, so that's the point.
But my shower.
but the point is, in the state of Massachusetts, there is a huge housing shortage.
Yes.
It's a huge housing shortage. It's really, really bad in the eastern part of the state, which is why they're now trying to adopt regulations that really don't fit here. But there's a housing shortage out here, and it's not just an affordable housing shortage. It's an entry-level housing shortage. There just aren't enough units. I mean, there are people I am working with at PVPC, young people, earning decent money, can't afford to buy a house in this part of the state. Can't
Because
afford
they
it.
have school loans and they.
Even without the school loans, they don't have the down payment.
Right.
You know, they can't make the payment because housing out here is very, very expensive. And one was telling me that really the only units that she could afford were ones that don't meet code of
Right.
honor.
Because even the
So
apartments.
so this is where, you know, I think accessory units help. Because it's not just ownership, it's rental.
Yeah.
It's rental units. And I never really thought of it like that until these young women, very, very nice, you know, can't find a place to live. They can't find a decent place to
All
live.
right, we've got to move along.
Yeah.
Non-accessory.
So anyway, accessory apartments is something that will be coming down there. I think it's something you need to think about. I think, yeah,
How much later? Because we started this back when another.
we are doing this chapter by chapter.
Okay.
Right.
And so which chapter are we on?
That comes in the special permit chapter.
So,
Yeah, it just moved way down.
No, it's not, because I'm gonna punch you again. No, I think this is
So
terribly
can you just
important.
keep chapter 11 in the zoning regs? How many chapters total are there?
We're changing that.
Okay.
There's a section that's gonna have one section that has all the stuff relative to what you need for the various special permits. That's where your earth removal regulations will be in there, accessory apartments regulations will be in there, your multifamily will be in there.
Okay.
Because
I think this is-
as you know, what's been happening in Southampton is, oh, we're gonna adopt this now, we'll just attach this to the back. Oh, we're gonna adopt this now, well, we'll put this on the bottom. And you end up with this really unwieldy document that doesn't relate to itself, and you can't find stuff in it.
Right.
Let me ask you a question. The
Sure.
bylaw committee is looking at our general bylaws, and they're thinking of doing the E360.
E360.
It's a
I do know what that is.
formatting for your bylaws.
It's like a program that
It's
you
a
buy.
program.
Okay?
You don't know that one. You should, I know you do. I know
Is it the one that all the other towns have?
In
These are
the
online?
eastern part of the state, yeah. But
Okay.
it's a very nice way of organizing your bylaws. And I don't know if that's something the planning board.
I think you got an email on that.
Did you get an
From
email?
Will City.
I would have to look at it.
About that.
Yeah,
Because the last meeting, I handed out the reformatting of the table of contents, of how we're going to be setting it up.
no, it doesn't, won't touch your table or anything, question, but just go online and check any of the towns in the eastern part of the state, because most of them use the E360. And it's a real nice way for lay people to be able to go through.
But that's just how when you have it, you digitally put it online, right?
Right,
Okay.
it's not going to touch
Yeah.
your content.
Yeah. I use those all the time.
But this is, you have to buy the service, and then they will, you know, do the updating and so forth for you. But it's a,
Are you going to make a note on this to include the marijuana
Yeah.
legal uses too? So anything else on this use regulation, so we can go on to the dimensional? Dimensional density regulations, area height, oh, blah, blah, blah.
Well, this got sent out on Sunday.
You got a different one?
Yeah, was there 2 attachments?
No, there was one you got,
You got
I
Jerry, or no?
think you got one on Saturday and one on Sunday.
Oh, okay,
So what I've been doing with this as we've been going through it is I've been taking the sections that you, the text that you now have, but reformatting it into the formatting that we decided we want to go with. The 610.1, and A, as you go through. So for the most part, what you have on here, because it hasn't been highlighted, is what you currently have. And then there are some things at the end that
You got some areas, yeah.
so number,
I guess the one thing I have is, I'm not sure if this is where screening and buffers goes, but we can move that if we need to. So I really haven't changed any of your minimum lot size or your setbacks or anything like that.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that that was an issue.
No, I think it's giving a huge can of worms.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it just makes sense.
I mean, we don't have sewers again.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
so
you're really limited.
You need, right,
You are really limited.
regulated.
So apropos to what you just said a few moments ago about a housing shortage
Yep.
and affordable housing in the broad sense of the word for a young couple or young people, anybody, anyone, for that matter, that couldn't afford a larger house, would we be in a better place to reduce the minimum lot size in
No,
order to,
no.
you explain that to me, yeah.
So what's gonna happen is you take, so what do we have, 30,000 in RV?
Yeah, you're 60 in the outline.
So
which
let's
is where
use
you
our
really
RV
need to
as
be.
an example,
Okay.
30,000.
Okay,
Sounds like a lot, by the time you're done with a driveway, a house,
It's
a deck, a pool, a septic, I mean, your septic system is minimum of.
okay, so 30,000 is really as small as you want to
The
go.
issue you have is if you have on-site septic and on-site water,
Yep,
you've got to have your well and your septic system 100 feet away from each other.
okay,
Plus my neighbors and the people in back. And in fact, my first job when I was in Belchertown, I sat down with Chuck Dodge, who worked for the USDA,
okay,
and we went over all the soils maps. And we took a look at, based upon the soils, really how big a lot do you really need to feel comfortable you're not drinking yours or your neighbor's effluent? And we came up with 60,000. And that's pretty much what you're looking at.
I mean, yeah, that, I'm not
But
saying,
it's really a public health thing.
saying to
I
change
hear
it,
you.
but RV
Gotcha.
should really be 40. I mean, that's just about an acre, but
okay,
I think you have such
Okay.
minimal space.
I buy it, that's good, had to
that's
ask.
the problem.
I will say, I'm on the
Yeah.
Master Plan Implementation Committee, and we are
Well, that's a big
We are
thing.
struggling with a
Big
lot of
thing.
these things in order to enable some of the stuff that's in the master plan, and that was a suggestion
When
that
you
came
can
up.
invite me to the meeting,
It's an open meeting, Ryan. It's on.
let me know.
Yeah.
My nights are open.
And we know he reads the stuff, so.
So, are you going over this, so you said you didn't change a lot except for these?
No, basically, everything that is in white,
Right,
I did not touch.
all right, so the
The
first,
only thing I'm suggesting you add and I didn't put page numbers in these, I'm sure. We have the bottom of the third page, and you have your table of height and bulk regulations, is adding a column for maximum impervious coverage. And that's because stormwater runoff and stormwater management is becoming a really serious issue and something that's very, very important to do. And so it's not just a matter of how big your building is. It's a matter of how much impervious cover, or how much pervious cover you're taking away from your lot. Because for every square foot of, concrete or asphalt or roof or swimming pool or whatever else it is that you put on your lot, you are now taking off that property the ability for that lot to soak up that water. So now you're basically shedding that water, and that water is either going to be shedded onto your neighbor or shedded into the street and now has to be incorporated in your stormwater system in your road. So many towns have adopted a maximum coverage percentage.
If it goes into town stormwater, they'll charge you.
Yeah.
Or pay you.
Yeah. So what I'm looking at is I'm going through other towns to see kind of what kind of percentage do they come up with.
On the fourth page, is it?
The table.
This is the one, oh, see, yeah.
So I guess my question, Larry, would be,
Here's the
then
one.
in this height and bulk regulations is what triggers the accessories, like I
Yes.
talked to you about the
Yeah,
accessories.
no, we need to talk about that, because that is not addressed in here.
Right.
And that's something that, Jerry brought up when 2 years ago when we were sitting down and going over this, and we brought up last week.
I'm on. I was prepared.
Yeah.
That's what that was. I'm not about that.
How are you coming up with those calculations?
The impervious cover, I'm looking at what other towns are doing.
So you haven't settled on that yet?
No.
So it'll be a percentage
A
of the
percentage,
lot
yeah,
size.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, you could put a square footage, come with a hard number,
Yeah, but
but
that's
if I like
tricky the
a,
minute.
I like a McMansion on a really big lot and you don't, it's gonna be two different things.
Yeah,
So-
percentage is better.
Yeah.
What is another town, for, what, like Westfield or the 1 acre lot, do they have anything?
They do, I don't remember what it is off the top of my head.
But we have some.
We'll come up with that, and we'll look at what other towns are doing, and we'll see what we think fits here. But it's just that, you don't want, if somebody comes in and just, they put in a tennis court, and they put in a swimming pool, and they put in a big patio, and they put in a big shed, suddenly they've got a lot more water that they're not addressing on site, and that water goes someplace. And if they can address it on site, that's terrific. But if I'm the next guy downstream and suddenly I'm getting more water,
Or if you're just up the hill, now you're getting all.
How do you regulate, I mean, devil's advocate, you build a house,
yeah,
you build a garage with a driveway, and I'm done.
Yep.
5 years down the road, your wife wants to put in a pool, you put in a pool.
can
5
you
years
come up
down-
with that tool?
Right.
But you can't, you still have to go and get your permit, and you can't cover more than a percentage.
Yeah.
So the building inspector
The building inspector does
is
all.
gonna have to regulate that, but then to put a shed in, isn't there a threshold under a certain amount of square
Yeah, 100
footage?
square feet.
You don't need a full permit.
Right,
Something like that, that's not bad.
Pretty, yeah.
That's not bad.
right. Well, you have to do a 98 square foot.
I'm just looking at it as like time, as time prevails,
Yeah,
you build a house, 10 years later,
Well, no, yeah.
and then, how in the past,
yeah.
and that's
Someday,
this town, it seems.
someday Southampton will have what many other towns have, which is basically for every lot, there's a file. No. But for every lot, in that lot, there's a site plan, and that site plan may have been issued a long, long time ago, but, it includes in there every consecutive thing that has been built. So you were able to do the cumulative effect of that.
So you'd have to.
But it's the building inspector's not to track.
The thing, and if you put it through the assessor's office, then.
Well, the assessors do, they tax
They
it.
tax it.
Well, no,
They wanna know-
that would be the place that would be calculated out.
Yeah, but they don't enforce
No,
it.
it's gonna be.
They don't-
the building
they don't enforce zoning.
Permit, because they're gonna.
All right,
take
I don't want to get fantastic.
And they'll find out about it after the fact.
All right, so you've added,
So there are two sections I added.
in the last 3 pages. Infill and lot permission.
I guess before we get to that, have we had any issues with the height of accessory structures?
Yeah, we do. We do. And so what was it, so what's the issue that people have?
People come in, they want to build garages that match the peaks of their houses, and then the garages are not
They want a
detached.
garage as tall as their 2.5-story house?
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Right now, our limit's 20
Yeah,
feet.
so Caitlin Way, a guy came in, example, accessory garage, 2 or 3 bay. He wanted to match the roof line, and I think that's what I was looking for. The accessory use is 20 feet.
Shall not exceed 20 feet in
20
height.
feet,
Yeah.
and your house can
Your house would
be
be
35.
35. So they come to us, and, I mean, I get it. If you drive by and look at this one as an example of why at the down the road, it made sense. If it didn't, it would just throw the whole geometry of it off. A guy had come in for a cupola, and I'm saying to myself, really? Like, you know, but it exceeded that threshold, so to kind of circumvent some of this stuff, which we've never denied anyone on it, because I think it's just an old and antiquated bylaw,
Mhm.
that the accessory use, if it verbiage is in there, it matches the maximum roof line or height or whatever of the principal structure.
Has to be existing though, right?
Existing principles, yeah.
You can't build new.
Well, if it's a brand new house and then you wait to do your garage.
Well, if it's a brand new house and then you want to build a garage.
Yeah, you
Same
can
time.
do that, well,
Or
that's,
does it
it's
accept,
all.
well, you still remember the same.
Well, no, all right, so
Still remember
accessory
the
of,
same.
accessory of the principal, of the principal structure.
Yeah.
So then you're not getting into an RR, it's what, permitted height 35, RV is 45? Wow.
That's what I'm saying. Is that correct?
Residential villa, that's the smallest, what's the highest height?
Could be church.
Let's see, let me make sure.
We have 3 stories.
So in other words, you're looking for C under that accessory structures?
Yeah, that's correct. I
C?
mean, that's what we have now.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's like the most,
Where is your, so that's residential village. So where's residential village? That's not, yeah, it's right over here.
Basically.
So,
there's residential village all over town.
Well, yeah, it's pretty
so I know
fast.
of, yes, there's some place in one of those residential villages, you had an existing building that was 45 feet tall. And you picked that number because of that.
Where is it?
And the minimum 2-family, multifamily residential net floor area minimum is 768 square feet.
I mean,
And I don't know where that came from.
should RRR and RV be 35 and CVs 35, CH and IP are 45? I missed this sheet.
What's 45?
45 feet's a full 3, full, what's a story, 11, 10?
What's
Well, is that the
East Street?
apartments?
No, East Street. Is East Street, that old house, right past the police station, that,
The one that just sold there with the extra lots, that old house?
no, across the street, the bus people, I can't think of their last name, they own it, I think that's a 3-story. The woman of the night was living there, the attorney. Yeah, whatever. It was in the paper, but I think that's a 3-story house. That's, I think, I don't know, that should probably be looked at.
Well, it says that's the maximum, but how many people are really going full?
But I wouldn't want to see someone come in and build something 45 feet tall next to my 1,200 square foot ranch. For my,
Well,
It's good to be the littlest
Senior.
house.
that's exactly right. You know, when the tide comes in, all the boats go up.
Right. You could be the gardener's cottage.
Well, my grandfather always told me, you don't want to have the best house on the street.
That's right.
So when you put in
The
questions.
best house raises everybody else's values. and everybody else kind of brings that value down a little bit.
Are you going to revisit this, or are you going to?
I can take a look at that. I guess, but I think you probably have a better feel for that, because you know what the RV district is, and what you're trying to do there. And I'm gonna bet you that 45-foot and 3 stories was put there because there was a 3-story, 45-foot building.
I'll call Tom Quillen tomorrow and just ask him.
Okay, that'd be good.
Take his brain and be like, hey, where is it?
Yeah.
I can't envision, I don't even, is there even a building in town that is 45? Because Country Garden is 2 stories, and that can't be more than that. That's CV, I think, isn't it? It's not.
Oh, wait a minute, are you including Keystone driveways and,
I see
in your maximum
posting on
lot
that.
coverage?
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
I'm getting over on to the next page.
I don't even know on that.
Huh?
Yes,
But that's pervious.
depends. Not necessarily. If they're compacting that, if they're putting TRC or something in there, I mean, that's,
All right,
you're gonna get,
That'll shed water.
exactly.
yeah.
My next door neighbor just did that.
Yeah, so you've got RV and Pequot, White Road, and you've got it all down, I don't know who chose different colored yellows.
Yeah, that's always good, isn't it?
College Highway, High Street,
Looks like the state of Massachusetts.
I can't see.
So what did you decide on the, shall not exceed 20 feet in height there on the accessory structures? Is that going to be something you're thinking about, or are you going to put a number on that?
I think it's a process, I guess.
Or language?
I guess it would be a couple of things. First of all,
Not exceed the principal structure? No.
do you want, as a matter of right, all accessory buildings to be potentially 35 feet tall?
I don't see it as an issue. I see.
Well, I guess it would be an issue if you had a ranch.
But the principal structure next door, well, no, so you can't put a height, you have to put,
You have to
it can't be, the accessory structure cannot exceed the height of the principal structure.
Okay.
So if you got a ranch, it's 20.
Then my next question would be, and I think you can do this, I guess then what I would say, and we're looking at by definition, how you measure building height, usually the building height is from the average grade to the peak of the roof, or the ridge line of the roof. Not the footing. Usually it's from grade,
Great.
from the, whatever the average grade is. So you would want, how would you want it worded? You wouldn't want to go, or you would want to make it clear that what you were talking about was the height of the principal structure measured at sea level, or measured from sea level,
Great. Yeah.
right?
From sea level or grade? Those are two
Sea
different
level.
things.
Because if you have to measure from grade, you could have that on a higher part of your lot.
I know, okay.
And now that's going to
That's
be
what I
part
was
of
saying,
that.
footing.
Right, because then,
Yeah,
so
so,
the roof line at sea level could be 110, and the garage can't exceed the 110.
Yeah.
If you had the topography, you could play around with it, and you could,
right,
yeah.
yeah, okay, let me think about that, because it's, because you're right, I mean, with a bulldozer, you can play great games
Yes, you can.
with that. But I think what we're talking about is that, physically, we don't want the accessory building to be any taller. Height-wise, 25 feet or whatever the number is. And on the lot, we don't want it physically any higher than mean sea level.
Right. We don't get a lot of them, but I would say 3 to 5 a year.
So are we gonna say that's it now?
Newer house.
And no special permit for any waiver from that? For what you grant now, are they coming in for special permits?
Yeah.
They are, so we have to advertise for it, they have to pay.
No, I get that. I just
Yeah.
wanna make sure you're not getting variances.
No, special
Okay, special permit. So, will we be taking that special permit option out?
I think if you wanted to exceed that, I think you have to leave it in, right?
Yeah.
But other than that, if it matches that, you know, I got, the cupola one is always,
Right.
it's $1,200 cupola, I think you spent like $450 to come in,
Trying to come in
to us,
permanent.
you know.
Ridiculous.
And right, wrong, or different, I was like, how come you didn't just put the cupola?
Yeah,
He lived 1,000 feet off the road.
yeah.
I mean, I
I
applaud
mean,
him.
the only time I can think you want something bigger is to bring up water up or something.
So I think you have to have that, right? Because you get
Yeah.
into, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Something in there that it's, they don't have to come to us for a cupola to build a two-car, they gotta go through the process of
Yeah.
the building inspector's reviewing drawings anyways, and he's gonna verify the height. But I think you have to allow it, you're right, if they do wanna build like a horse barn, you got 30 acres, you wanna build a horse barn that's 40 feet, because
Yeah.
there's a loft or whatever is in there, then you would need a special permit, that makes sense.
Yeah.
We've never had one of those, we've had 5, 6 garages and a cupola.
Yeah.
So that's.
Gonna work on that?
Yep.
So the last 3 pages that I have that you added is info, lot, permission, and everything.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
So the first one there, 660, basically has to do with what do you do with the vacant lot in the middle of a neighborhood that doesn't, well, none of the houses really meet those criteria anyway. Typically, it's an older neighborhood or a neighborhood that was developed before you adopted zoning, so the lots are already too small.
Those little quarter-acre jobs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what this does is it gives you a process for somebody to come in and put a house in there. You know, if it's the same size lot as everybody else has, it's the same kind of structure as everybody else has, why can't I do that? You know, why does that lot have to remain empty?
Chances
Or
are,
why,
there was a subdivision that was already, filed in the registry, though, so if it exists,
chances are it wasn't a subdivision, it was probably
No, we had one that divorced, I don't know if you were on the board.
oh,
there.
yes,
Yeah.
I do remember.
It was the same size as all the others,
Yeah.
and the guy gave it to his ex-wife, soon to be in divorce. And she thought she got a building lot and tried to sell it to a builder, the builder came in and pulled a special permit to build on the house, we had to deny it. I have to laugh, but.
well, somebody had a smart one, or somebody didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, no, she went back and got the
Yeah.
money.
Oh.
And it was all spearheaded from another one that we had
That's funny.
denied the same, it was, this goes back a few years, but yeah. It was
That-
over
now-
off upon Meadow Road and what's it, David and all those streets in there, yeah.
Now, if this is not an issue in
The
Southampton,
guy that you own the carpet store?
I don't know, but his ex-wife was not happy. She had a raw piece of land, she couldn't, I mean, the guy had to check.
Oh,
for the-
the cut sheet, wasn't
I mean, this only is necessary if you have older neighborhoods that have smaller lots or smaller setbacks.
Patches over there, there's 2 or 3 of them left,
Yeah.
and that was built in the 50s and then
Yeah.
60s.
Yeah.
So this allows you to kind of install it.
Basically, take a piece of land that is
It's what everybody else has, but your zoning says they can't do it.
non-conforming,
Right.
which then in turn makes it conforming, it's gonna match the existing,
Yeah,
put it on the tax rolls other than $300 a year, and,
correct.
yeah, I didn't know that was possible, that makes sense. I mean, there's only probably a handful of them in town.
Right.
Put 2 kids in school system.
Wait till I have 10 kids in there.
Ah, there you go, and get your money's worth, right?
Right.
it? Keep going, Mary.
And the last section has to do with if somebody is like donating conservation land, or if you need to access a piece of conservation land or along somebody's property, that this would allow them to sell it to you, but they wouldn't be penalized for having too small a lot, because it still wouldn't be developed, because it would be left aside as conservation land.
If it has a CR on it.
Yeah, but it's just not, because otherwise they couldn't do it.
So you got a 20-acre parcel, you want to donate 19.5,
Yeah,
and the house is there.
yes.
Say this.
So you make a non-conforming lot,
Yes.
so that waives.
But it's the greater good if you now have conservation land, this is dedicated for conservation land. It's not like they're gonna be able to put a bigger house on that to start with. Yeah.
And the value, and the reason for doing
where
this
we found
is to avoid taxes? You give the
No.
land away, is that?
No, sometimes
No, no.
if you give it to
It's not to kill the
conservation,
project.
taxes sometimes increase.
Yeah.
Because now you abut conservation property that can never.
Yeah, but
be
you have
developed.
a smaller piece of acreage, so that's
But
what,
you're abutting
okay,
conservation.
it's more
And
attractive.
it probably kicks in more with access to the side of your lot, where you're gonna lose a strip
Yeah.
to provide access to the conservation land, but now you're not gonna have enough frontage,
Right.
and you may be short 5,000 square feet or 3,000 square feet or
So
something.
this allows you to make the
Correct.
donation and still
Yeah, do
keep,
that.
yeah.
And again, it's on a case-by-case basis, it's done by special permit, it's gotta be, you know, in consort with the open space plan, with the conservation commission. It probably isn't gonna happen a lot.
Make sure you find out with the ZBA and not me.
Oh, chief off.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm here.
That's funny. That's
You know, I
funny.
take everything away from them. And then the last one, 670, dimensional and density regulations for lots located in more than one zoning district.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That,
Well, this happens every once in a while, and this is why I always say zoning lines need to follow property lines. And don't split a zone into two lots. A lot of times, a long time ago, when towns did zoning, they said, we're gonna have commercial, 300 feet from the edge of the road. And so if your lot is 500 feet, you've now got the front of your lot in one zone, and the back of your lot in another zone, you really can't now use the back of the lot. So,
I think we have some pieces like that.
well, I bet you do have pieces like that. But what you run into oftentimes is now you got a vacant lot, the lot split by a zoning. What's the minimum lot size? Got two different districts, they both require a different minimum lot size or frontage or something like that. And so this is just to try to
That just
set a
clarifies.
formula
Yeah.
for doing this.
That's good because there was, we haven't heard from it in quite a while, but over on Pleasant Street, the sister farm,
Yeah.
might have put in a solar field there, but it was within two different districts.
Yeah,
One where it was allowed, and one where it wasn't.
yeah.
How do you, this
This is
was
not gonna affect the use.
not the use though.
No, it's not gonna affect the use. If you can't do it on that half of the lot, you can't do it on that half of the lot. But if you can do it all on this half of the lot, but still be able to apply this portion of it to the overall, lot size or frontage requirement, that's okay.
It's probably why they moved from back.
That's a problem, that would be a problem.
It was a big solar field.
Yeah.
I think because it was East Street split it, like one side of East Street was the farm, solar was allowed, the other side was still as far.
This is the other one, this is relative on East Street. I don't know if you still have the form moved, but
Yeah, that's Ron Bishop.
Pleasant Street, Ron.
Yeah, he's a relative of that applicant.
He's got this huge, over by the,
So here.
He's got like 100-something acres.
5,000 square feet, is a lot, and only 40 feet of
I see
frontage.
the road in there in Westgate, two separate zones.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You may want to increase that in
Yeah,
the
I-
septic.
If you don't have anything else, I'm
Problem
gonna
there,
move along, because we've got minutes to approve, which we're
and
really,
water supply.
Can I ask one
The
more
last
question
one.
before we,
no, let me just, Larry, you pretty much wrapped up with this
Yeah.
document then for tonight?
Yes.
Now, with that, we have a scheduled public hearing for a zone change, which is probably going to be a pretty, important meeting and well attended and a lot for the first meeting in November, so
Okay.
it's going to kind of screw up our
Yes.
rotation. that we
Why did
had.
you do that?
felt like we covered so much.
I thought we all promised. Yeah, that will be a problem. What is the zone change?
You know where Opa's,
Yeah,
Right next to it.
Right next to it.
The horse barn?
Yeah.
They tried that before,
We're trying
which I never had a problem
Well,
with.
it's
They
now-
withdrew, the
it's now
applicant
a new-
withdrew.
It's a new owner now.
Mm.
It's been
Yeah.
bought by the company, what is it called, Dreams?
And they want to extend the village center down there?
Yeah.
Put Dunkin' Donuts in there.
They want to become commercial.
You know, the traffic probably of school kids come down there, cross the street and go to the subway.
I wish you hadn't said Dunkin' Donuts, but,
But Dunkin' Donuts. We don't like
Well-
Dunkin' Donuts?
It is gonna generate, it is.
go to
gonna
Haydenville.
generate-
Go to
Wednesday
Haydenville
is
and look
on.
at their Dunkin' Donuts, and that's the Dunkin' Donuts you want.
Yeah, it's the same, same architecture.
Yeah, okay. That's what you want.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
you're gonna generate some good tax dollars.
You're gonna
And that's
generate
going to
terrific queue lines.
two
Yeah,
kids in the
that's
school
good.
system.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty
Yeah.
creative.
Oh, I love Dunkin' Donuts. I just don't like always what Dunkin' Donuts does.
Well, there's another
I
structure
thought-
too.
I
I was
thought-
thinking maybe two or three structures.
Well, I
Yeah.
think he's.
A bank,
Oh,
Dunkin'
you
Donuts,
know,
whatever.
But I remember the objections, and I think Hank basically torpedoed it. And it was because of the historic district and the cemetery across the street.
Yep.
Those are the best neighbors to have.
That's great.
But anyway,
But what you have to be careful
Right
of,
next door might not be.
it is called creep.
Because of.
And it's when you incrementally, lot by lot, allow it to creep down the street.
Well-
So you have to be very careful, you have to be very
Right there.
careful about that.
It's never gonna continue because
No.
all development for the farm is sold off.
Is it
Development rights.
APR?
I know you can't, there's those two parcels were not, Tom Cross owned it.
Yeah.
He told me it
That's
was
what
like,
I mean, a horse farm.
yeah, for some kind of farming, no development, no
I mean, if they got
housing.
APRs on it, that's great.
He sold it 30 years ago and he just, for some reason, kept those two out.
Yeah.
He sold everything else, so.
Yeah, I mean, when I looked at it, this was like 6 or 8 years ago, I think, when they came into that. I didn't have a really good problem with it. The rezoning of it, or extending the district down, as long, again, as you really were careful how you did it.
I mean, if it's got
But
the,
it really got a lot of opposition.
if they sold, yeah, if the rights are sold, I mean, like you said, it's, you got a dead end there. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's a good, I don't know.
So is it where they would, like, park off the trailers for the horse events? It's right there.
Yeah, the gate, there's a gate.
Yeah, exactly.
But you need that.
But then from the farmhouse down, it's pretty much APR?
It's APR, and
Yeah.
behind, and down on the
Yeah.
river, everything, yeah.
You know,
do you want to pick up, and what are you leaving for Mexico?
Christmas Day.
Okay, so we can get in another round. first part of
December?
Yeah.
What's your second meeting look like in November?
You got a Christmas party somewhere?
Well, no, I'm just thinking we'll do it then instead of the first.
That's the 20th. I will not.
The reason we wanted to do that one in November
Yeah.
is you know darn well it's going to be continued.
Oh, yeah.
So-
It's a matter of Thanksgiving and Christmas. No, I hear you.
No, well, it'll be Thanksgiving anyway.
Yeah, I hear you.
Putting this in.
So what date is the second one?
In November, the first one is the 6th, the
So
second.
the 18th is the second meeting,
Okay, but you're not gonna be here.
Wait a sec, wait a minute, we doing November or October?
December, or
We're
whatever
doing
it's next.
December.
Yeah, we're doing October's now.
Won't be available in November because the public hearing will be that.
Okay, okay.
So it's
That's gonna be a hot one.
the 18th.
Of December?
December 18th?
Yeah, I will check my schedule. I think that should be okay.
The
If it's
4th,
not, I'll let you know.
the 4th is not
The 4th of,
December.
I booked the first Wednesdays of the month for you.
Yep, so that's it,
Yes.
4th.
Okay.
But if you want to do it November, whatever that was.
I would rather do it the 4th because I think Cindy's.
Yeah, she's not gonna be there.
December 4th.
Okay, so we'll stick on a normal schedule,
Yeah,
but not do November.
right.
Okay.
And when do you come back?
End of April, or March, end of April.
Really? Yeah?
But I have to tell you, I don't think about this for 3 months.
Is it really, Paul, is it impossible to do something other than the first and the third Wednesday? Could
We could do a special
Could we
meeting just
do
for
the
this.
You can discuss meetings
To
anytime you
accommodate
want.
him on the 13th, which is the second Wednesday?
We could.
Is
I
that-
could put another one in there if you wanted to
Because we
just
really
do-
want to keep this going.
Yeah.
And,
For November, you mean?
yes,
So that the 3rd, the 10th?
it's the
Whatever it
6th
is.
and the 13th.
Okay, so try the 13th.
I'm just wondering if that works.
Would you be available the 13th?
I'll have to check my schedule when we talk.
Let me, email me, Larry, if it is, I'll just let
Yes.
the folks know if you're
Yeah,
available on the
can you
13th.
keep me on
Yeah.
those emails, Larry?
I'll keep you all.
I'll keep you, yeah.
November 13th, right?
I will.
Okay.
Put a question.
I mean, for that matter, we could look at any other day. It doesn't have to be a Wednesday, but it depends on Larry's availability.
Yeah, I just have some grandma days.
Well, sometimes you gotta want to do other meetings here,
Yeah.
and we'd have to meet upstairs otherwise.
Meet upstairs.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, it's really gonna be the same 6, 7 people.
Well, I have to be careful what
Yeah, I think
else.
Well,
Okay.
I'll cover you here if you give me anything you got. I'll bring it.
Okay, so Jerry, what email address? I should add you to our list. Board of Health one?
I'm gonna take a short recess here, be back in a couple minutes.
My email address. That's so stupid.
Late meetings and
Wow.
they just got behind us then. Kathy had trouble with the laptop. I've got a new laptop, but I don't have
Oh, you did get a new laptop?
Yeah.
Oh,
the, Ed
okay.
Gibson was instrumental in getting a good price on an HP.
Yep.
Got it all loaded with everything.
Wow.
So,
Very good.
but since Kathy's not here tonight, I can't do them on the screen, so
Yeah. Can,
we'll just go with,
You went to a lot of trouble to print all these up.
well, they were already on the laptop.
Yeah.
You just had to print them, that's all. And then,
Okay.
I'll have to have Kathy from here then take and get them on the My Town Government ads.
Yeah.
approved. So
yeah.
now we're gonna start it's the longest one back. I don't know how it got eliminated, but it was back from January. The rest of them are all from April forward. So we've got January 23rd. So if you want to just go over that and see if there's any edits.
Well, I have to abstain because I wasn't even present at that one.
Hmm. Yeah.
No, not necessarily because
Okay.
Jim informed us before that even if you weren't in attendance, you could approve.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
You might just move your mic closer to, thanks.
I see no edits on the January 23rd, but any other comment from the board?
Nothing I can add to it.
I can't add anything.
Okay, hearing none, I'll motion to approve the January 23rd, 2019 minutes.
I guess I will second it.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next one is April 17th, 2019. Isn't that ironic, the approved minutes?
Yeah. The only edit I see is just the correction of John Furman, last name spelling.
Yep. It's Furman.
Is Furman.
So with that correction, I move to accept it.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next one we have is May 1, 2019.
I move to accept as written.
Yeah, I second. I see no corrections needed.
Motion made and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next one we have is May 15.
Yeah, seems pretty thorough. I have no edits to the May 15th.
Motion?
I'll motion.
A second.
Cindy, motion made and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next meeting is June 19. This one was also video recorded. Once again, there's another here for John Furnham's name.
So I wasn't here at this meeting, but just a question. An in lieu payment in the amount of $19,700 is estimated for the waiver of a sidewalk on both sides?
One side, that should be
Yeah, it was one side.
one side.
On one, okay. So we need to change that then. Because it says both sides.
Right. There's a typo on the engineer's name from Levesque Associates. Cravo is C-R-A-V-O. Philippe Cravo.
So with the spelling corrections of the names of John Furman and Mr. Cravo, and the correction regarding the waiver payment to reflect only one side, I move to accept.
Motion made by Cindy,
I will second.
second by Keith, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The next order of minutes is July 10. Once again, Tony Cravo's name and typo.
I move to accept, but there's a change in the sentence structure at the very end. Well, first of all, the spelling of the names, Cravo and,
Yeah, Cravo.
I don't know if Furman's in there.
Yeah, that was correct.
But then at the very last page, just before adjournment, the board will have talked to T.A. Gibson. I think the word have needs to be removed. Will talk to T.A. Gibson and perhaps the town attorney for guidance.
Mm-hmm.
And with those changes, I move to accept.
I'll second.
Motion made by Cindy, second by Keith, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the next one, we had no meeting in August. So the September 4, 2019.
I see no necessary edits. I'll motion to approve the minutes.
Motion by Keith, second, Cindy.
I agree. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved. There, we're caught up. Thank you very much for
Very good.
your patience and time.
Two super quick announcements. And I think you got an email on this. October 17th at 10 in the morning, there's open meeting law training. And that's here in the building. I suspect both of you are tied up during the daytime, but just to let
Is
you
it
know.
a Monday or a Friday? Yeah, it's a Thursday.
Like 10 or 11 in the morning?
It's 10 in the morning, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, and Lucy was sharing with me, because I was in there today. I think and I didn't bring my notes, I don't think. Who's due for upgrading on your open meeting law requirements? Do you happen to know off the top of your head whether you're due? Sorry, I didn't bring it with me.
Janine used to send out notices.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard anything from Lucy.
I think Lucy's trying to catch up with a few things right now, and why don't I just ask her to send out emails to you guys if she feels you're due to start doing that. She's going to do it after the beginning of the year, I think, because,
Oh, she's tied up now with town meeting stuff, right?
yeah, exactly, and I think that's her intent, but if anybody can get to, I'm going to try to get to the October 17th one. Okay.
Anything else from anybody? I've got nothing else.
Nothing else for me.
No, I have
I move to
nothing.
adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Third, fourth.
So it's 9:23.
Thank you, Mr. Carter.